وهو الذي جعلكم خلائف الأرض ورفع بعضكم فوق بعض درجات ليبلوكم فيما آتاكم إن ربك سريع العقاب وإنه لغفور رحيم.
Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to the iKhalifa series. I'm Asadullah Ali, and I'll be accompanying you on your journey towards becoming a Khalifa of creation. Now, what exactly is a Khalifa of creation? Well, in Islamic theology, being a Khalifa has a number of meanings, but overall, it's the primary purpose of mankind, according to Allah. And what it means to be a Khalifa is not only to be a caretaker of creation, but also a representative of God on this earth. So I thought, what would be the first thing to bring up in the first episode of iKhalifa? And I thought about appreciation, because I experienced something a couple weeks ago, and it's been sticking with me ever since. So first, let's discuss what appreciation is in Islam. To give you a clue, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, once said, "Those who do not appreciate people do not appreciate Allah." And when I first saw this hadith, I didn't really know what to make of it. I didn't really understand what the implications of that were. But I think I had an epiphany a couple of weeks ago with a number of incidents. So the first of those being, and I'll just jump right into it. The first of those being is that so I go to university, and every morning I tend to go to this coffee shop. And I know all the staff there because I get coffee there almost every day. And I'm ordering my usual, and I noticed that there's this woman behind the counter, middle-aged woman, and she's always kind of like, kind of stressed looking. She looks kind of fatigued, and, she's been working pretty hard. You can tell she's been there for a while, and she knows how to do her job pretty well. But I noticed that, one day she's making my coffee, and she seems kind of grumpy, and, I just told her out of the blue. I just said, "Hey, how are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm just working here." And I said, "Your job is really important." And she laughed. I was trying to be kind of like playful too. I didn't like make it really serious. I was kind of joking around, but I did mean that. And I said, "No, your job is really important, because without you, a lot of the students here wouldn't be able to function throughout the day without you making coffee. Your coffee is why we are able to go to class and are able to function, in our courses." And she smiled and she laughed, but I noticed immediately after that her eyes lit up. She no longer looked fatigued. She no longer looked like she was stressed. She seemed to have a much more like lightness about her. She was very light in her demeanor. And ever since that time, she's been very happy to see me when I come around. And I say hi to her, and she says hi to me, and she gives me my coffee, and she always asks me how I'm doing, and she always smiles. And it's a completely different change from when I first saw her. And there was even a time that, I was doing a lot of work and my coffee went cold, and I went back and I asked the staff, and I said, "Hey guys, can I, get a new coffee because my coffee went cold?" Or actually, no, I asked them to heat my coffee. And instead, she made a completely new one for me. She didn't have to do that, but she did. And the manager let her because, the reason they gave me was, you're a consistent customer and we like you. And I was like, "Oh, that's great." And so that was the first incident that I noticed regarding appreciation. And the thing I noticed about it wasn't the fact that I got free coffee or the fact that, those people are smiling or anything. The thing that I noticed about it was that the change that I brought to those people, the moment that I started to say positive things about them, that I started to value the way that they were doing things, just to value their existence for the time that I was there to see them. And I don't know if you guys understand what I mean by that, but just imagine you're walking into a place and you're in this space and there's this negativity everywhere, or a neutral atmosphere. And the moment that you express just a small amount of appreciation, the entire world that you're in, that space, dramatically changes. Just imagine it. It's like magic almost. And then another incident happened like this. I went with my wife to the mall, and we tend to go there because there's this like ramen stall. We like to eat ramen because, you know, we lived in Malaysia for quite some time, and that was one of our staples. So we go to this ramen counter, and, you know, I order ramen. It's a new place, so it just opened up like a few days prior. And I notice everyone's working behind the counter, and it's kind of chaotic, you know. And there was this gentleman behind the counter, and he seemed really stressed. So, you know, the first thing that I said is, "How you doing?" And he said, thank you for asking me." And he seemed really sincere when he told me that. And immediately, we just started having a conversation while I'm ordering my food. You know, he starts talking about, you know, how he makes the ramen, and, you know, and you know, he starts asking me where I'm from, and I ask him where he's from, and he's a Korean gentleman. And, you know, we start talking about the type of ramen that we like, and, you know, just making jokes and everything. He was very happy and jovial. And at the end of that, he offers me 2 free drinks. He said, "Here, on the house." And I said, "Well, thank you, I appreciate it." And at first I assumed from that was that he was just sort of giving out free things because, you know, he wanted to like promote the business. But then I came back a couple days later, and we had a briefer conversation at the time. I said, "How are you doing?" He said, "How are you?" Smiled. He offered me 2 drinks again. And I said, "Well, thank you, you know, but I want to pay for these." And he said, no, on the house." And I was like, wow, that's weird. But then I thought about it. And it occurred to me, finally, at that point, the second incident, because there's another incident after this, but the second incident, it occurred to me that this individual was lacking in appreciation, towards himself. Like, people were not appreciating him to such an extent that he felt the need to show me his appreciation of me appreciating him. The fact that he kept offering me free things, the fact that he wanted to show me, to express his appreciation towards me, made me feel like he did not get appreciated that much. And it really made me feel sad. It made me feel horrible that he would go out of his way to show his appreciation to me, because it felt like no other people were doing it. Either they treated him neutrally, or they probably treated him negatively. And I don't like it when people mistreat those individuals, thinking that they're lower than them. I don't like it at all, because those people are doing their jobs. They're making their sustenance by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is Allah who has given them those abilities, those talents, to be what they are. And that is why, that's where the epiphany comes in, that is why when you are not thankful to people, you are not thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you are undermining what Allah has given to the others in existence. You are undermining the talents that Allah has given those people. You are undermining the sustenance that Allah has given those people. You are undermining the energy, the health, everything that Allah has given those people, so that they can just survive, can be who they are. And then I realized what it meant in that moment, in each of those moments, what it meant to be a Khalifa of creation, even if it's just a little bit. And it really changed the way that I look at the world as well. And if people just appreciated each other more, maybe the world wouldn't be such a bad place. It's not necessarily a bad place now. There are so many great things about it. But maybe it would be much better if we could just lighten up everyone's day. If we could just show everyone that they are valued to some extent. Maybe, just maybe, we'll be changing a lot of people's lives. So, now that I understand what the hadith means, and I hope that you guys understand what the hadith means, maybe we should start appreciating others. Maybe, to be a Khalifa of creation, we should go out of our way to show others that they're valued. And that's where I want to give you guys a challenge. And this challenge is going to be every week for every single video. So here it is. I want you guys for the next 7 days to show appreciation to everyone you come across that you think deserves to be appreciated. And even if you don't think they deserve it, maybe you don't know if they're working hard, maybe you don't know what they've done for you, show them appreciation anyway, and watch, just watch how that person's life changes ever so briefly, but changes dramatically. And I want you to see if there are any long-term effects, not on just them, but yourself and the way that you view the world. But in order to hold you to this challenge, I need you to make a promise. And how do you make that promise? Very simple. All you need to do is comment down below with the hashtag #IamAKhalifa. Or you can just share this video on any social media platform with the same hashtag. So until next time, be a Khalifa, because you are a Khalifa.